All right, so Sultai Dreadhorde. So we got Command the Dreadhorde here. Puts a bunch of monsters from your graveyard back into play. We've got the Wildgrowth Walker package to gain lots of life, so you can put those creatures back in over and over again. We've got Quasiduplicate to pair with all of these to make more copies of our things that draw cards. We can pair it with Cavalier of Thorns. Cavalier of Thorns is really sweet because it can ditch Quasiduplicates into our discard pile, which we can then jumpstart back. Cavalier of Thorns also fills our graveyard for Command the Dreadhorde. And then Nexus of Fate here, similar to the Yarok field deck, we have one copy of Nexus, so that way when this deck draws a bunch of cards and flips a bunch of cards into its bin, we don't deck out. Stoneforge is back, time to die with a Batterskull in my hand on turn 3. They banned Faithless Looting too, though. Banning Faithless Looting alongside it's a real big deal. Master Gibbs, thank you for the third of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one. How do we get creatures into the graveyard without Faithless Looting, though? Asking the real questions. Cathartic Reunion is probably the next big upgrade. Lightning Axe could be similar too. Wurza. Is there anyone out there who has a lot of experience playing the Wurza deck that can comment on how Wurza lines up against traditional Tron? Because I'm completely unexperienced in that matchup. So can anybody give insight into that? It's very rough. On paper, it looks bad, but I haven't played it. If you draw Urza and have combo, the matchup is fine. Otherwise, it's hard. I believe Zach. That sounds right. So if that matchup is actually hard, I'm not sure, because I do expect Tron to become very popular. All right, what am I naming with this? It's probably just like Wildgrowth Walker, right? Actually, I'm gonna name Jadelight Ranger because there's 4 Jadelights in my deck. And then if I hit a Jadelight, I can pick the Walker back up with her down tick. All right, I'd like to play a 5/6.
Seek and find.
All right, no Jadelights in the top half of our deck. As far as, like, no Yarok's concerned, I think it's mostly a question of, like, what do you cut?
You could use some manners.
Good lord. Vomit.
No one asked for
Is their last card like a shock or a lightning strike to kill this? Good golly. All right, so what am I supposed to do here? I don't think I can get enough blockers into play, right? So I can play this. If I can get 4 blockers into play, we could still survive, right? So I think I start here. Now I'm going to start here. Because if this hits untapped lands, I could be okay. Okay, well, I mean, I'm not... I need Merfolk Branchwalker or Jadelight, right? Oh, I can just grab one of those?
I have learned much from my ancestors.
So if this... I need this to hit a spell. Is that good enough to keep? I think I bin that, right? Because I want an Explorer creature plus a Wildgrowth Walker next turn. Alright, so if they draw anything here, we're dead. But if they brick, we have another turn. Well, we found the line to not be dead. But they top decked, so it is what it is. Wow, our sideboard's kind of bad here. I guess it's 4-4. This card's bad, this card's good. Click submit. Yeah, for the fact that they played 3 Goblin Chain Whirlers on their turn 5, that game was incredibly close. What do we think about Nissa versus like Nexus Tamiyo Duplicate? I think that's probably better. She closes pretty quick. Let's give that a try. Hey, No Life, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Well, the rest of their hand's kind of medium. No copies of Assassin's Trophy in this 75 is probably wrong. I think we'll fix that after this one. As a West Coaster, I just woke up to the good news. Looks like Modern is back in the menu. It is, actually. Wednesday's going to be an all Modern stream. And I think we're going to see if we can make it a long one. Is it going to be an all Stoneforge Mystic stream? Yes, most likely. Okie doke. I'm sad my Narsec cannon had to take hits for Hagak. It is what it is. Looting's actually going away today, and I'm not going to be live tomorrow. So there's one looting deck in the queue, and the person that submitted that one is going to have to swap it out for something else. Yeah, I think it's Nissa plus Legion's End here. Just because this gives me the most mana. Oh, you know what? I should probably Legion's End this so I don't die to too many three damage things. I did 2 3-pointers now. Yeah, I probably should have killed this. So next turn, I think I have enough mana to Memorial back Jadelight, play Walker, play Jadelight. That requires 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. We're dead. Yeah, I think I should have killed the Firebrand there. I definitely should have killed the Firebrand. Yeah, let's fix the fact that this deck doesn't have any Assassin's Trophies in it. It's a pretty big mistake. Cut Dreadhorde for them. I mean, like, cutting the card the deck's named after is probably not going with the spirit of what the deck submitter wanted. Does this mean we'll see more Death and Taxes in Modern? Probably not. That archetype's still bad. I guess that was an untapped land that would let me play Tamiyo next turn. Because both these other lands in my hand are still tapped. It is Robosnake. Yeah, I should have kept that Hinterland Harbor. Why do you think they didn't ban Ancient Stirrings along with looting? Because they're afraid to make too many changes at once, which in general isn't a bad thing necessarily. Pinot Graham, thanks for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Wildgrowth Walker getting bounced, like, isn't the worst when I have Risen Reef in my hand.
Seek shelter in my stewardship. Rise, my elemental friend.
So, Tamiyo's dying. Decks like what my opponent are playing feel like a big part of the reason why these Dreadhorde decks in general kind of fell off. Like, once upon a time when this Dreadhorde deck was kind of everywhere, it was like the biggest, baddest thing you could be doing in Standard. And since then, a lot of these other decks, whether it's Field of the Dead, whether it's Mass Manipulation, there's a lot of the other decks just are like doing things that go over the top of you in a very similar way. Man, that's brutal.
I know I noted this somewhere. Ursiu,
thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Like, if they Hydrate Crisis me here, like, I'm just, like, dead, right? Or they play a big Voracious Hydra? Yeah, like, my opponent's deck was just, like, far more efficient than our deck at, like, going over the top of what we're doing. Like, our deck's supposed to be, like, the big bad, and, like, feel like this is a really good example of why this archetype kind of just, like, fell hard off the map. Yeah, me too, Elusive. I am really looking forward to just having a second format on Arena in general. I want commander cards to be legal in modern. I think other than True Name Nemesis, most of the commander cards would be fine. Legality would be fine to have legal in modern. Will the price to submit historic decks? Yeah, the price to submit historic decks will be identical to submitting standard decks. The Magic Online decks have a premium to submit because Magic Online blows. And it's really slow to play. So, the Magic Online price is higher to discourage people from submitting a lot of them. Reprint to Balt, thanks for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Well, so much for that one. And then again, like, my deck's linear game plan is worse than my opponent's deck's linear game plan, and my deck is completely lacking in interaction. Yeah, it also cost me $10 to gamble per league on Magic Online, is another reason. They did, in fact, actually do it, Rollins. They set my Stoneforge free. Well, that wasn't the third land I was hoping for, but it's the third land that'll do in a pinch. I guess it lets us do this into this still, which is nice. How are people gonna play against Caw-Blade? Asking the real questions, really. It's really just not fair. Gosh, where are my lands at? No, Hugel Stoneforge Mystic is rotated. We now have Hugel Twin. The fact that Quasiduplicate makes ugly tokens that have a border is so sad. Oh no! They're gonna kill my Risen Reef token! That's so rude. That's so rude. I would like another one. Can I hit some lands now, please? Can I hit some lands now, please? Can I hit some lands now, please? Magic is an incredibly low variance game, and the better player always wins. It's just unreal. This was my experience trying to ladder up on Sunday night before I decided to give up. You're just like, nope, some things are not meant to be. How many lands are in this deck? Is it 25?
I have a plan.
There's 28 lands in this deck. Are you kidding me? I just assumed that this deck was greedy or like more mid-rangey and playing fewer lands. There's actual factual 28 lands in this deck. Holy crap. The stupid shuffler's as flat as the day is long. All right. See, we just needed one good turn like that, chat. That's all my folks really needed, okay? One good turn to be set free. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Nice, Sig. Yeah, Yarrickfield's a lot of fun. This is a 10-10, which is not a big deal because I've got some Cavaliers. Actually, I think I'm going to... So I think my plan here... I drew a Noxious Grasp now. Yeah, let's kill this. And I think I'm just gonna gain some life here. Snuggle Bear, thanks for the 6 months. I appreciate it. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, and I think I'm gonna offer to trade Risen Reefs here to kill their Teferi. So I've drawn enough cards off these Reeves.
It's only a matter of time.
There's only 27 cards left in our deck. So there's a pretty good chance we can get to Nexus of Fate doing some good stuff this next turn. It's like a pretty big attack. That's not too bad. And like next turn, I get to duplicate a Wildgrowth Walker and then play some Explore creatures. I might even double duplicate Wildgrowth Walkers. This is going to eat a Wildgrowth Walker, speaking of. And we're eating Cavalier of Thorns. That's a bold strategy. I guess they're doing that because they want to attack here. All right, so I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is 12 mana. So I can Noxious Grasp this. Quasi-duplicate my Wildgrowth Walker. And then Command the Dreadhorde a bunch of things into play here. I can also cast Nexus if we draw it. Yeah, we're gonna command the Dreadhorde, put a bunch of stuff into play. Right, that felt good when we got choked up there for a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Having some amount of interaction was really good there. Having a bunch of trophies and Noxious Grasps. Pretty easy mulligan here. This in the opener kind of sucks. Looking for some cheaper creatures to play. This hand's not especially good, but I think it's a keep. Long-time YouTube watcher, but worked the opposite shift to catch you live. I woke up early and saw the Stoneforge Mystic unban. I remember I had a Prime gift. Keep up the good work. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube stuff. Thanks for keeping me around, Risu. These go big decks are just so tempo dependent, a bit of early disruption, and you fall impossibly far behind. That's why Yarick Field is so smart. Yeah, the thought erasure is a little bit of removal in Yarick Field goes a really long way. Hey, Nick, thanks for the 18 months. I appreciate it. Possibly RoboSnake, so I don't look at the deck submissions live, so it's possible that some people have submitted all sorts of things. It's like there's three decks waiting to be responded to. We will not fail. Go to 15. How many subs did you have at your peak? Am I at the highest sub count I've ever had? I'm not currently at the highest, so usually the subs have a burst up when there is when there's some kind of special thing we're pushing towards. So when we did the drive to color my hair pink earlier this year, my sub count jumped up to a little bit over 4,600 concurrents. My current sub count as of this very moment is 2959. No, sorry, 2628. 2959 is my sub points, which are slightly different. I'm gonna trade with Temple Garden here. That's only a 5/5, so if they don't have a blocker for this, we're in a pretty okay spot. We ditched a number of things there. Shadow Rill, thank you for the 19 months of support. I appreciate it. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Are we dead? I think we've died. It's my opinion on Planar Cleansing. I don't really know what deck in the format would want to play that card. So I have 6, this is 7. I'm taking 11, 12, 13, 14 damage this turn, and then I'm just dead to this Nissa, right? So I guess I decline, because that card means I'm dead next turn, but I don't think I have it out here, right?
Be wary of the Drowned Walker.
There's no Ritual of Soot or anything like that in our deck. I mean, even if we found Ritual of Soot, we'd still be like dead to rights to this Nissa, right? All right, I'm gonna give this one more shake, but I feel like we've had a really good highlighting of why this archetype was like around 2 seasons ago and last season, or was it just last season, and then kind of fell off the face of the earth against other things that are going on in this format. Feel like our payoff is just not particularly good anymore. Elementals. Wildgrowth Walker. If Wildgrowth Walker lives, it's probably pretty good here. Yeah, I think a big part of in my mind, the question I would ask is like, what is this deck doing that's meaningfully better than the Yarok field deck that we've been playing a bunch of? Because it has some very similar parallels to that. I'd also want to ask myself the question, what is this deck doing that's meaningfully better than the straight blue-green deck that instead of playing Dreadhorde just has 4 Nexus at its top end with these crackling counterparts? So, one thing I would really like to instill in people is, here's a check you can cash to the bank. Anyone who, at this point in the standard season, is telling you they know with certainty what decks are going to be good or bad after rotation is either a liar or an idiot, and either way, you probably don't want to listen to that person, regardless of which of those two camps they fall into. Not only is knowing which decks could be good is important to know which cards are going to be legal for that deck, but it's also important to know what other cards are legal in the format as a whole that are being played. A great example of this is Jeskai Control and green black midrange from the beginning of this season. Both of those decks are decks that didn't lose any cards and even got good upgrades, but they're no longer competitively viable because just the way the format warped around them. So whether or not a deck is good is not just as simple as looking at, like, did this deck get upgrades? Are these cards still legal? Nothing's rotating out of it. Knowing what other things you need to keep up with in the new format is also equally important. And we don't know 20% of the cards that are going to exist in that format. So, like, making reasonable predictions of what's going to be good, bad, or otherwise is just nonsense at this point. Yeah, those are other good examples. Unmoored Ego was really terrible once upon a time, and now it's a format staple. Vraska's Contempt was a format staple, and now the way things have lined up, it's really bad. The Ban and Restricted update takes effect on Magic Online in an hour and a half. So, Magic Online gets the Banned and Restricted updates the same day, and Magic Arena gets the updates 9 days from now. What's up with that? Spoiler season is almost upon us. I believe it's like September 4th.
Strange and magnificent world. I can help you no longer.
My favorite part about giving speeches like that, about talking about taking things with grains of salt and not knowing with certainty, are the people that push their glasses up and are like, well, Jeff, you see, actually, Jeff, when you say they just can't have certainty, they could maybe know, Jeff. They could maybe be making random guesses as to what could be good or bad, Jeff. Come on now. You know what I said. You know what I meant. That's why I explicitly used words like with certainty. Yeah, Stoneforge stream is Wednesday, Mike. We're gonna do at least all through my normal stream, and if my boss approves it, we're gonna do a 10-hour stream on Tuesday. Have we died? Wednesday. I just said Tuesday, I meant Wednesday. I'm off tomorrow. I am not streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow I am not streaming. I am off all day tomorrow. I have things that I have to do, unfortunately, that are not stream related. This deck was bad. I think we kind of highlighted a lot of the reasons why it was bad while we were playing, but did kind of a good wrap-up segment. I feel like the payoff this deck is trying to execute is no longer the clean, good, go-over-the-top payoff that it once was when this archetype was playable in previous seasons. This is another deck that really shows just because cards are still legal doesn't mean they're good or playable. Like, this archetype was a tier 1 deck, and it just isn't good enough to keep up with these things that are running around in the format today. Hey, Zine Saws, thank you for the 7 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Where does that leave me? If we're doing all... We're doing all... We'll do one more deck today. Do I want to do one more deck today? Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be done. I'll be back Wednesday. Yeah, I think so, dude. Like, I'll be back Wednesday. We're gonna do a bunch of Modern on Wednesday. I'm gonna start figuring out what Stoneforge Mystic decks we're gonna play on Wednesday. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thursday, we'll probably do some Standard. We'll do Modern and Standard on Thursday, probably. I'll figure out a schedule and update my thing as the time comes, as we get it figured out. Remember, if you're a sub and you want immediate updates, be sure to be in the Discord channel. Always post information there. Have a good one, folks.